Hi, Bryan Reynolds. Just wanted to talk to you a little bit. I hope you're getting a little busier. We had a little spike there for a minute. It seemed like things were starting to get a little bit busier, and then it kind of slowed down again. We're trying to hang in there. We're looking at diversifying. I teach a class on that, and we're trying to practice what we preach. Diversify a little bit. We've gotten some measuring jobs. We went to some real estate offices and had some conversations. I've been doing some attorney work and some estate work, some of those things, some private work. And these are jobs or opportunities that I call interest rate safe work, because it doesn't matter what the interest rates are. People are going to die. People are going to get divorced. They're going to build and widen roads. And I want you to stick around for this podcast because I have a practicing appraiser. I love having practicing appraisers on the program, and I've got one for you today. So come on back and join the conversation. Hi, this is Bryan Reynolds. You're listening to the Appraisal Update Podcast, brought to you as always by the great folks over at Appraiser eLearning. You need some education? Check us out at AppraiserELearning.com. And for those of you watching, if you saw the little video of me holding a tape measure and a laser measurer and crawling into a crawl space, that is some video directly out of one of our courses. So you can do an appraiser's guide to appraisal inspections and kind of do a ride along with me. We've got video of me actually doing the appraisal inspection on 2 different properties and some of the things I look for. I remember raising a window and pow, it came down like a guillotine, and that wasn't staged. It happened to be the window that I picked, and it had some issues. I'd like to thank our sponsor, LIA Administrators and Insurance, for their continued support on the program. And without any further delay, I'd like to introduce my guest, Mr. Kory Giddens. Welcome, Kory. Glad you're here with us today.
All right. Hey, Bryan. Thanks for having me.
Great. So tell my audience a little. I know you're from Fort Worth, Texas. Love Texas. I'm down there quite a bit. But tell everybody a little bit about you, Mr. Kory.
Well, hey, everybody. I have been in the appraisal industry for about 8 years now. A lot of that was as a trainee to soak up as much knowledge as I could. But I have had my own independent practice for coming on 2 years now. And I have started working on diversifying over these last few months with some pretty decent success. So hopefully I can share some of that with y'all.
You know, that's great, Kory. And you know, somebody that's newer, and I know you said you've been in, several years, but on your own for 2 years, is that what you said? A business owner for 2 years. Okay.
Correct.
Gosh, even 7, 8 years. I know one of my appraisers has been in the business about 5 years. And a lot of my listeners have never experienced a slowdown. You know, they since they've gotten into the appraisal profession, it's just been gangbusters. You know, I mean, our biggest problem was trying to decide which orders not to take, right? We've never had an issue with good supply, appraisal orders, if you will, coming in the door. And then suddenly, gosh, about July of last year, all of that started abruptly quitting. It didn't slow down. I mean, it pretty well, the water was turned off. So talk about a little bit about how that's impacted your business. You're a newer business owner. And then share some of the ideas or things that you've done to do I'm going to just call it non-traditional work.
Okay. Yeah, so, like a lot of other people, I had not seen a slow time either. Once I started my own business, I thought it was just up from there on. But within a few months, things started slowing down. And like you said, around that June or July, things just kind of died. So it was pretty frightening, to be honest. Didn't really know what to do. So I started working on the infrastructure for my business, started working on the website, logos, marketing, business cards, to get everything in place so that I could get really aggressive and start pushing for more non-traditional work, as you had said.
Yeah, so you made a comment just now that I absolutely love. you said that you started working on your business. And I'll share something with the listeners. I was at a B&A meeting. I wasn't the member. I went there with a lady. This has been a long time ago. And someone made a statement I thought was very profound. He said, "I'm a businessman. I can run any business." And I just thought, well, you can't run an appraisal company. You got to be an appraiser. And then the more I thought about it, and I think I've talked about this on other podcasts, the more I thought about it is, well, I guess if he hired appraisers, he could run an appraisal firm. Just like we have a brokerage firm here, and the owner is not a broker. They hire a broker to run that infrastructure, right? So you said you started working on your business. And I know you said some business cards and website, but dig a little deeper and tell us, what does that mean, working on your business as opposed to working in your business?
So whenever I started with market research to see what my peers were doing and what they were offering online. So I was looking at the services they offered, how they marketed their websites, what their websites looked like. And I found that a lot of my peers used the X sites. I saw an opportunity to go in and build a website that looked a little bit more modern to differentiate myself, so that whenever people go onto the website, it'll look like it's from the 20th century or 21st century, my bad.
Yeah.
I focused on the branding aspect pretty heavily as well. Hired somebody to make a professional logo for the business. And I just really focused on a lot of the little details. So whenever people saw me, they saw me in that professional, polished light. Because I feel like if we are professionals, I want the customer to see that.
Yeah. So you're, one thing I know is when I meet someone or I hear about a company that they're affiliated with, one of the first things I do is check out their website. And that's been an area I've been not great with, but you tend to pull folks up and look at their website and see what they've got and a little bit about, get to know them and what services they provide and what geographic locations they're in and that type of thing. So you did that. You got some business cards, but what are other ways that you started marketing yourself as a professional practitioner in the Fort Worth area?
So I have taken a different approach for my marketing. A very wealthy gentleman a long time ago gave me one piece of business advice that is very counterintuitive. And he said, work for free. So what I took that to mean is add value before you ask for anything. Or maybe you don't even ask for something. Maybe you just focus on adding value. So what I have personally done, or I've done several things, but I've focused on is reaching out to agents and offering to help for free with little things, just offering my advice, just letting them know I am here for you. If there's anything I can do to help your business, reach out to me.
And how's that been going? I mean, what level of success have you had with reaching out to? Have they been receptive to you doing that, or have they been more standoffish?
Very much so. A lot of people have said they've been in the industry for a decade or more and never spoken to an appraiser before. I could not believe that. Yeah.
So do you go to their offices, or how do you interact with them? How do you make that connection? By phone, in person?
A lot of different ways. Maybe I'm working on a report and calling to verify comparables. I'll congratulate them on the listing and let them know that I could help them with anything they need. I am about to speak at a brokerage here pretty soon and a mortgage office. So just a lot of different ways with that. It's really just getting aggressive with the networking and talking to people. There are other things I've done that look like they would work better, but I really love talking to people, so I stuck to this.
One thing that I've recommended to appraisers when you have a little bit of time on your hands, most of the brokers, when they get or real estate agents is what we're called here where I'm at. I mean, we have brokers too, but if you get a new listing and you're going to, market that, over the last couple of years, they haven't had to do much, right? Put a sign in the yard, it's sold in a couple of hours, but that's changing again too, right? So they're doing a little bit more marketing. We're seeing open houses and another open house, it's not just one. There's a house down the street from one of my Airbnbs that's had, I think, 3 open houses. But my point is, when they first start to market that, they'll have what they call a broker open. And it's a kind of a private showing, if you will. It's for other brokers. But if you're a realtor, and most appraisers are realtors, they don't know that, but they are, right? Realtor is meaning you're a member of your local board of realtors. So you can be a realtor member without being a real estate salesperson. You can attend those broker opens, and it's a great opportunity to network and meet other agents, other users, or affiliate with folks in our space. And also, it does something else. If you want to use that later as a comparable sale, now you've been in it and you've been able to put eyes on it and have one of your verification sources in your URAR can be a personal observation because you were there, you were in that house. Have you been to any of the broker opens, or are you just going into their offices and networking in that fashion?
A lot of times it is just reaching out to people, and people I have reached out to before that I stay in contact with. But speaking to the realtor thing you had mentioned, I have actually taken advantage of some of that, because a lot of our associations will have different events and meetings that we can attend.
Right.
And a couple of months ago, our association, or actually all of Texas, met up at the Capitol so we could speak to our senators and Congress people. So I was actually able to hop on a bus, drive down to Austin for a few hours, and network with the other realtors on the bus the entire time. And I had actually met another appraiser who had sponsored the entire event and bought a goodie bag for everybody.
Wow.
I beat myself up for not thinking of that.
Should have got that goodie bag.
Kudos to that gentleman.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I was about to ask you how many other appraisers were on that bus or attended that event. So you said there was another one, right? So was that it, just the 2 of you, or were there several appraisers?
It was just the 2 of us.
2.
That's all I was aware of. Yeah.
And how many real estate agents were there, or brokers?
If we're talking about the entire event, there were thousands and thousands.
Wow.
As far as the bus goes, probably 30, 40.
It was still 30 or 40, and you had 2 appraisers. Mm-hmm. But the event itself, you said, had thousands of attendees.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And almost 0 appraisers. So you feel like going to these events, riding on a bus, talking to the real estate agents has transpired into work for you?
Correct. I feel like putting everything together has. I feel like getting aggressive and just consistently taking action. It's a lot of little things put together is what I would say.
Here's the thing. Somebody, Jeff Bradford, told me many years ago. He said, real estate agents are very social. They're social creatures, and I believe that to be true. And they need to be. They're selling. But a business owner needs to be somewhat social too. That's hard for a lot of appraisers. A lot of appraisers are in their own little world. They like doing their own thing. They don't want to do that. But as a business owner, that's got to be part of your business model. You're selling yourself or selling your business. One thing that we've done is join the Chamber of Commerce, and we've been members for years, and I need to get more active. So the Chamber of Commerce has what they call a Rooster Booster. So that's once a month, an early morning break. And it's not just real estate agents. It's the whole community of professionals. I know one of my investor clients that I've sold houses to came up to me. You still doing appraisals? Yes, I am. And I was able to get a couple of jobs just from going to that networking event. They have a lot of the business after hours. It's a cocktail party or something. And one thing that I tried to make, and I haven't been successful lately, but when a new business comes to town, or when an existing business joins the Chamber of Commerce, they have what's called a ribbon cutting ceremony. And people will from the community come there, they'll cut a big ribbon and they'll hand a coffee cup around and everybody puts their business cards in it. And you just think for a minute, these are folks that were supporting my launch of a new business or joining the chamber. When I need somebody in that space, I'm probably going to pull a card out of that coffee cup and call them first. So there's all kinds of ways to market yourself without really spending a lot of money, but it's all about getting out there and meeting and rubbing elbows with folks. Talk about some of the things that you've done. I know you said there's some things you can't talk about, which is okay, but tell my listeners a little bit about some of the other services that you've been able to provide outside of a purchase or a refinance transaction.
Yeah, so a lot of agents want floor plans and sketches, but most appraisers do not charge much for those services. So I focused on changing the name of those and adding a little bit more to them to make them more robust and more appealing. So I offer living area reports and floor plan marketing packages, which have been actually much more lucrative per hour than any appraisal work I do.
Wait a minute. Whoa. You said that service you're providing, you make more money than doing the actual appraisal.
Hourly, yes.
Yeah, still, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
So can you share with us a little bit of, you said a marketing package basically for the real estate agents, right? I assume for a listing. Can you go in depth a little bit as to what that contains? What's that consist of?
Yeah, absolutely. So I offer sketch services that start at, I think, $200, maybe $225 for a simple property, which is kind of expensive, but I let agents know anytime they refer me, I'll take 10% off, which in turn just makes them look good because the client's going to look at it and say, hey, I'm getting 10% off because of my realtor. That's awesome. And I will add in what I call the floor plan marketing package, which is basically a Kubicasa scan where I will send them multiple PDFs and a lot of images through email. The only thing that I make sure to do with that, though, is give a disclaimer letting them know the measurements. They shouldn't rely on them.
Gotcha.
If I'm allowed to say that, I'm not sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you're disclosing what source you're using for measurements, and they need to verify that on their own, as far as precise.
Exactly.
I get it. Yeah. What other things have you done outside of the measuring service?
I do market area reports for people sometimes. So I'll go through and we'll look and figure out what exactly the market's doing. I do that for people looking to buy every now and then in different areas, because we have some areas that have been increasing this entire time still, while a lot of other areas have been declining. So I've had some clients looking for those services. It'll be a pretty comprehensive report where we go into the days on market and all of that fun stuff. We do absorption rates
and
whatever I feel like's helpful.
Who's your client on those type of assignments? Is that still a real estate professional or is that a consumer?
Typically buyers. So
Okay.
that would be a consumer. I will do something similar and less robust for free for agents, because we can easily, pull up Excel and, form a regression line to figure out what the market's doing. I think Appraiser eLearning has an awesome class on that, actually, I took.
Yeah. So I was about to say, you say easy, and there's a lot of my listeners right now are saying, I have no idea how to do regression. So when we come back from our little break, I want to pick your brain on that a little bit more and see if you can give some advice. And you mentioned us, and I appreciate that. But curious to know, is that a simple regression, linear regression? Is it multiple regression? And how some folks can get educated or find some tools to use that in their practice. But we'll be right back after a little shout out to my sponsor. Since 1978, LIA Administrators and Insurance Services have been offering E&O insurance to valuation professionals just like you. They provide superior customer service, exceptional liability education, and unparalleled claim defense They have served over 10,000 real estate professionals all across the country. They provide various types of insurance. Please check them out. Visit liability.com to learn all about how LIA can help you and protect your business. So, you were talking about regression, and there's some folks that are listening right now that have no idea what regression is. So, can you touch on that just a little bit more, and any other ideas or suggestions you have for specialized training?
Okay, if you don't know what regression analysis is, I would suggest looking at the time adjustment class they have, and there is a product called Spark that works pretty well. It is a lot more automated to where you can import the data and you can customize it more easily to automatically show a lot of those charts and graphs, which are very readable. If you go the Excel route, that's quite a bit to explain, and I can't really do that without a computer.
Yeah, sure. So Excel, most folks have, a package Office, something like that, where you have Word and Excel. And so Excel can run regression for you, right? Or you could buy, so you mentioned a product, you can buy certain products that have that built in and run it. So we encourage folks to kind of investigate that a little bit, learn a little bit more. If there's an appraiser right now that's, let's just face it, Kory, right now, a lot of appraisers are scared. They don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I just talked to an appraiser last week, and he said, if something doesn't happen soon, I'm going to have to get another job. I don't know what to do. And we talked about different things. We talked about collaborating, right? Working on maybe you work for a couple of offices instead of just one. So we talked about some different things and diversifying and doing some various things. But if one of my viewers or listeners right now falls into that category, they're a newer appraiser, they've been doing this for a handful of years where it's just been gangbuster busy, and then the spigot stopped, right? Because we're all in that category. It's just some of us have lived through that in the past, while many appraisers have not. I mean, what do you have to say to those folks listening in right now that are just scared? They're mad, but it's past being mad. They're scared to death too. What would you say to a newer appraiser that is in that situation right now?
Well, I would say first off, you are not alone. And I would tell you to ignore a lot of the things you read on the forums, because there is a lot of negativity. And I have found what worked best for me was shutting my brain off and just taking action. Make that phone call, send that text, go to that broker open house, just get active in the community. There are a lot of different ways you can do it. And, is it okay if I share one specific that worked really well for me, Bryan?
Go right ahead.
I started a Google ad campaign, which is not very competitive in my market. It's increased slightly in competitiveness, but overall it's not too bad. With my last campaign, the day that it went active, I got 4 inquiries for appraisal services the same day. So a lot of different things work. I've tried email marketing. That immediately worked. You just have to get aggressive with it, and just don't let the fear stop you.
Work on your business. Don't just work in your business, work on your business, right? So talk about that real quick. You mentioned an email campaign. Where did you get the emails? I mean, where did you find these folks to send I'm familiar with drip campaigns and all of those things, but where'd you get the list to email blast folks?
I got that off of the Trek website. I downloaded the public file and scrubbed it. It had about 100 and something thousand people, and we got it down to not too many.
Okay.
So I think about 8,000, 8,500 in my city.
Okay. So is that more the folks that you're emailing are real estate agents? Is that what I'm understanding?
Correct.
Okay.
That's
all
what
right.
that is.
Okay. And then you said, talk about the Google ad. Because there's folks right now that have no idea what that is. And I know what it is, but that's about all. I don't know a lot about it either. So tell the viewers and listeners, what is that? and how they could maybe do something like that.
So Google has a program where if you have a website, they can link advertisements to your website. So anytime a consumer goes online and looks up certain keywords that either you specify or Google's algorithm identifies, your advertisement will pop up. And if they click it, it takes them to your website and they can order from you. You just want to make sure that you have a strong landing page. And I would highly recommend some social proof, because as soon as I added the reviews to my website, I noticed a substantial uptick in inquiries.
Yeah, yeah. And you could do that with a lot of platforms. And I'm not a big social media guy, but I know, for instance, in Facebook, you can actually target, right? You could create an ad and you could target a location. So if you're going to spend money on marketing, right? I mean, if you're a commercial person, maybe you want to blast a big area, but you're in Fort Worth. You probably don't want to market, to somebody in Arizona, right? So you can create the geographic location of where that ad's going to target. And then if you want to do a demographic, you could even do a demographic, because, a teenager's probably not in need of appraisal services. So you could do a demographic to really focus toward that. Have you done any of those types of things?
I have not done that yet. I've, pretty much focused on the person to person. So even though the email campaigns did work, I focused on the person to person more still, just because that's what I enjoy.
Yeah, getting out.
So
getting out, meeting people, talking to people, networking.
And you can get really creative with it. I mean, I started a golf group about 7 months ago. We've grown to over 900 members since.
Oh, wow.
And we have a lot of agents in there, and a lot of them have started reaching out to me now.
So wait a minute. This is a golf group in Fort Worth?
Yeah.
Or is it
I just started playing golf last year and was horrible. And I had a lot of buddies that were bad that wanted to play. So we made a group called Double Bogey, and we have tournaments every month, have just casual social games. It's been a really awesome thing for me and the community. But
do you have a website for that?
We're working on that right now, actually.
Need a website. But you have 900 members. Is that what I heard you say?
A little over, yes.
That's incredible. Congratulations. That's incredible.
Well, thank you.
Let me ask you this. Have you gotten even one? Have you gotten any, and ladies and gentlemen, I have no idea what he's going to say. Have you gotten one work assignment as a consequence of being on the golf course or affiliating with over 900 members?
We've gotten one assignment from the
Okay.
so
All right.
far. Yeah, well, this has just been about the community, though. That's just been a byproduct of being involved in our awesome community.
Absolutely.
Because I'm making sure most people don't even know I'm an appraiser, because this is a value add thing right now.
Sure. But as a consequence, you're going to get work from that. And I love what you said, that you didn't do it for that reason. You're doing it for giving back to the community and getting folks involved. But that's excellent. It's funny. I was at Appraiser eLearning, and Hal and I are putting all over the office, and I did some putting in here while ago, because at Val Expo, you guys come to Val Expo, we're going to have a little putt course out. And there's going to be a prize available for you, $500 to whoever wins. So we'd love to see you in Vegas at Val Expo. I think you need to join us. Sounds like your golf game's improving a little bit there, Kory.
It sounds like fun.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, what is give your website name. You talked about how it looks a little better than some of the ones you've seen. So there's probably some folks that would like to check out your website, and then give your contact information if one of my listeners would like to reach out to you directly.
Yeah, absolutely. So my website is aresvaluation.com. And my contact info is, or I guess my phone number is 940-577-4188. And my email address is kgiddens@aresvaluation.com. And yeah, anybody, feel free to contact me. I'll do what I can to try and help out.
Very good, very good. Well, Kory, thank you so much for being here today. I'd love to see you get involved in some of the associations. I don't know if I'm not going to put you on the spot if you are already or not, but we need forward-thinking folks. We need to come together. You're right. There is a lot of negativity out there, and that's not serving anybody. That's not helping anybody to just, be blue and frustrated and talk negative all the time. How does that provide value or help us move forward? It really doesn't. So I like the fact that you're creating opportunities for yourself instead of waiting around for what we used to call the fax machine to ring, right? You're not just waiting for an email order. You're out there finding ways to create opportunities for yourself. So congratulations on doing that.
Well, thank you, Bryan.
Appreciate you being here. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the Appraisal Update Podcast. I'm your host, Bryan Reynolds, for Kory Giddens. Until next time, happy appraising.
The Appraisal Update Podcast is brought to you by Appraiser eLearning.